first joined some of the extra agencies in London, which gave me the experience on set and see how a film was made. And I was hooked straight away. I was like, I want to do it again. I want to do more. And then I started doing network. And from the networking, I collaborated with people. And then someone asked me to appear in the film for like a small role. I thought, why not? So my first kind of small role in a short film was called Shadow Warriors. And I remember at the time we shot in middle of the night in Chinatown. And I thought it was great. Yeah, I mean, I thought I was the best actor at the time. And and looking back, it wasn't too bad, but it was poor. It was, the very beginning of my acting. And I'm still not great, but 2 years ago, yeah, I was really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So from that point on, I just started researching how to become a better actor. And then not long after that, I opened a YouTube account. I think that was back in 2015. 2016, I opened a YouTube account. I didn't do anything with it for a couple of years, and then I bought a first camera, which is a Canon 5D Mark IV, and just started experimenting, shooting videos for YouTube. Just to start with, I wanted to become a YouTuber, to like make funny videos and do some vlogging. And I think I was going to be like a YouTube star. I think, well, this is it, I'm going to get like 1 million subscribers within a year or something stupid like that. I also bought a drone, which I use quite a bit during trips abroad, along with the Canon camera. The more I create these vlogs and travel videos, the more I start enjoying doing the kind of storytelling style videos. And then it got to a point where I just decided, you know what, it's time to make a proper film. So 2 years ago, I decided to shoot my first short film. It wasn't really a short film, it was a web series, but we'll never end up doing episode 2, so I guess it's a short film now. So how did it start? I met a guy called Ray Shan. It was on one of those casting for a stock video, and we kept in touch. And then we kind of said to each other, how are you doing with the acting? Have you been getting the roles? And he says no. And I thought, why don't we kind of practice at the same time, get our own films out there with like a proper role, like a leading role. So we got together and we came up with the idea of BLOODLINE, which is about two brothers who's got superpowers. And then we got another actress who played a small role in there as well. And there were just three of us the whole night. We shot it. I think we shot it in one night, and it was about 6 hours. There was no proper lighting, and there was no proper sound. I just had the Canon with the mic hooked on top of it and on a gimbal sometimes. Whoever's not on screen was obviously doing the shooting. And then when it was released, everybody said, the beginning was way too long. I remember there was I think it was about at least 2 minutes of intro of just me and Ray walking. I think the way I created was because obviously I've watched the feature films a bit more, which is a lot longer. I think that kind of intro would have made more sense. So that's one thing obviously I've learned. And then I learned a lot of other things, of course, like the lighting. There was just, like I said, there was no lighting at all. The sound was terrible. The editing could be a lot better. The framing, the composition. I mean, it was my first. But a lot of people liked it, and there was quite a lot of people who wanted to see a second one. So yeah, Bloodline was really enjoyable. I learned a lot on set, and I don't know if you can call it on set. It was just three of us, but yeah, that was just really fun to make. EXMALUM was the start of releasing a horror film on Halloween every year. And it wasn't planned. I think it was about a week away from Halloween, and I just decided why not make a horror film, because I really enjoy horror films. And I made it with my girlfriend at the time. It was again shot just one day. In about 6 to 7 hours it was done, and I took a lot of elements from popular horror films and put that in there, and then kind of did the lighting myself. There was a little bit more lighting than Bloodline, but in the end it was just a very quick, simple story, which again, watching back, it wasn't that scary. I tried to do a jump scare in a scene. Obviously, that probably would have made some people scared, but I think it lacked a proper storyline. It was just more kind of in the middle of horror kind of style, if you know what I mean, rather than the beginning and middle and end. The quality was a lot better than Bloodline, which at the time I didn't even know you could shoot in 4K or even what the difference was. So yeah, again, learning more from the mistakes in terms of, or the sound. Again, it wasn't great, and also the lighting could have probably been better. But I really enjoyed the movement in that film.
When I first saw the script for What Happened to Callie, and then I saw the schedule we had to shoot it in, I was wondering about Blake's optimism. I was like, okay, I know you're optimistic. This is super optimistic. Like, and we did run over our scheduled time by more than a few hours, and it was a challenge for me. I think one of the things for me was that it was a shoot that went through the night time and into the morning.
Callie? I've been calling her. Birthday, Callie? Your guests are here.
Callie.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
What Happened to Callie was my first proper production done right kind of film. What I mean by that is we had a crew. We had a gaffer, we had sound, we had runners, we had people doing the lighting, had a DP. I was thinking, yeah, this is it, you know, this is my moment, my big break. I ended up spending £2,000 on the project, but that still wasn't enough to shoot into a second day, because we had to pay the location, the food, the crew member, the actors. There was a lot outgoings. I was really kind of hyped for it, and we used a better camera, because I said my 5D isn't that good for a more kind of higher professional quality production. So we hired out a Fuji X-T3, which I did purchase eventually, but then sold it. But that was the most hardest time I've ever worked on any type of work, in terms of sweat, pain, kind of mental kind of pressure, because I was the director, I was the actor, I was also the producer. We had to travel really far to find this really great location. So what I've learned from that is just not try to do too many different roles at once. It was just too much. In the end, obviously, we ran out of time. We had to change the script a little bit to fit in. We shot through the night, maybe about 20 hours with 3 hours sleep. It was really tough. Then I have to drive back as well. So, but the result wasn't bad for the time that we spent on it. Oh, the editing, Back then I wasn't a great editor. Even though I started to kind of know the programs and everything was self-taught, but I was still a little bit slow. At one point I just gave up, probably quarter of the way through editing. I just didn't want to look at it again, and it was kind of not touched on for at least 2 months. People were asking me, how you going with the editing? I was like, it's going okay, but I haven't touched it for like 2 months. And then after 2 months, I just thought, I just need to get this project finished because I spent so much money and time on it. And then 1 week later, it was done. So that was a good film. That was a good experience, and it was time to move on to my next short film.